everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great week. Now today I'm going to be reviewing Norvina's collection for their Pro Pigment Palette Volume 5, which is the latest addition to Anastasia Beverly Hills. So I'm going to be talking about all that and more, as well as a tutorial on how I created this look with the palette and what I think. So if you guys want to know all about that and more, then please do stay tuned. But before we begin, you guys, if you all like beauty videos, random BTS unboxings and more, then please do hit on that subscribe button and join the family. I would love to have you guys here. But in the meantime, without further ado, let's begin this review and talk about all the new releases from ABH and more. So let's go. And before I start off with the eyeshadow palette and show you guys like how I do the look, if you guys notice any background noise, it's because the air conditioning unit is on today. It is really ridiculously hot, you guys. So if you guys hear background noise, that is what it is. And also for this particular look, I also want to give a lowdown for the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is their Magic Touch Concealer because I did use it under my eyes and for spot correcting over here. So this is in the shade number 8. It's kind of supposed to give the eyes upon application a very lightweight kind of feel, but with buildable coverage. And it's supposed to give the eyes a little bit of luminosity when you apply it on, which I kind of see, to be honest. But the only thing with this, I don't know whether it's going to pick up a camera or not, but with this I had to go in with double the application because, like I said, it's a buildable coverage. So upon the first time I swatched it on, I could still see a little bit of the imperfections like coming through and, you know, natural skin and all that. So it's great in terms of if you want a more natural like coverage, you can always go in with the first swatch. But for me, because I wanted to cover a little bit more in the inner corners because we're going to be playing with pretty strong colors, so I went in with, you know, a second time with this. But it is definitely very lightweight and I feel that the coverage is very hydrating as well, so that is definitely a plus point for me. And as you guys can see on camera, it looks pretty good, and after 2 swatches it covered, so buildable coverage for the win. And now we're going to finally talk about the palette. So this one is Norvina's collection from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the 5th addition to the Norvina collection, and as you guys can guess from the packaging itself, this one, the color story is going to be in purple. Now the first time I saw this palette, you guys, I honestly thought like, oh my gosh, it's going to be purple. It's definitely going to mirror like the original like first launch palette, which was the Norvina palette in volume 1. I'm going to insert a small little picture here for you guys to see. But in terms of the color story, initially when I saw the packaging, like the outer packaging, I was like, ooh, okay, is this going to be something similar? And when I saw inside of the palette, I was like, okay, it's not similar. It's more softer, user-friendly, I would say. Like the colors are not so bright or in your face. So if you are the type that is looking for something for daily wear, and if you want something super fun, you know, simple pop of color to your lid, I think this one is going to be the way to go. Now this one goes at 325 ringgit. There are 25 shades to play with. It's supposed to be highly pigmented, intense color payoff, and it's also cruelty free and vegan as well, which is fantastic. Now this is the palette, you guys, and I have actually reviewed another one of her palettes, which I will put down in the description box below if you guys want to go and check it out. But this is how the packaging looks like. It is so pretty, and the size of it, guys, is as big as my face. For 25 shades, 325 ringgit is not bad, honestly, like for an artistry grade palette. I want to show you guys the color story, and you guys, this is a beautiful palette. Like even looking at it, I feel like it's very cohesive. Fair shares of your mattes, your glitter, and oh, the pastels. I'm looking at this shade for some reason, like this light purple one, that is so incredibly pretty, and I feel like this is something that you can definitely use, whether it's for an everyday use palette or a nighttime full glam palette. You can go either way with this, so that is definitely a very good sign. For this one, I am 100% going to be playing with the purples because I feel like, you know, The color story mainly revolves around that shade, so it's only fair if I create something with that. But first I'm going to bake under the eyes, because as we all know, with Pro Pigment Palettes, there is going to be a tendency to have a little bit of fallout, so I definitely want like the powder to kind of catch it so it can give a more like flawless finish. I'm going to be going in with my Patrick Star MAC collaboration. This is their setting powder, which is fantastic. I kind of wish this wasn't like a limited edition thing, but it is, so I'm going to use this sparingly. So I'm going to be taking the shade D4 for my transition shade. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but purples in general in the beauty industry is very, very hard to do. But the pigmentation that I got out of this, you guys, is like, it's so nice and intense. And for a fact that it blended out like with ease, I didn't have to like really go in with my brush and blend. Like, this blended so incredibly easy. I am very, very happy with it. This has minimal fallout. This is technically the fallout that I had after application, and as you guys can see, it's very minimal. There's not a lot. I want to go in with a lighter color, so I think I'm going to cut my crease a little bit, and I get to show you how the concealer performs, so that's great. I'm going to take a little bit and just put it here, and then I'm going to look up to see where that color spreads. This is how I normally cut my crease. I'll place like 2 placements of color, and then I'll just look up to see where that matches, and then I'm going to take my brush for precision and just blend that out. Now, do you guys see how easy that was? Literally like effortless. And because this is a buildable coverage concealer, it actually doesn't take away any of the original pigment that I applied on earlier, and it kind of just blends into the color without making it too like washed out, you know what I mean? So this is actually a very good concealer to use if you want to cut creases. So yeah, that's a plus point for me. So now that the crease is done, you guys, I am going to be going in with the 2 pastel shades that you see here in B2 and B3, and I'm going to be placing it on the lid. You guys, I am literally so impressed by this palette. You guys have no idea. This is so incredibly pretty, and this inner corner thing is kind of like pastel dreams, if you will. And now I'm going to do the bottom lash line with the same mixture of colors that I did for the top. So far so good, you guys. Now for the inner corner, I'm going to be taking the shade B1 and applying it to the inner corner as well as the top of my arch. Oh wow, just a little bit, just highlight that. Okay. Oof. Okay, so I am done with the eyes. The only thing that is missing seems to be my mascara, liner, and lashes. So I'm going to quickly do that off camera, and then I'll be right back. So okay, you guys, this is the finished look. I added on a little bit of lashes, liner, and a touch of color with lipstick. And I have to say, everything being put together looks very cohesive and very, very beautiful. I'm actually really happy with how this look turned out, and I am especially happy with how the palette performed. I think this is such a stellar palette, and the fallout was minimal, and the purples are beautiful, and everything about it just blended so nicely together to a point that I'm not only just impressed, I feel like this is a palette that I'm going to reach out for very, very often. And honestly, I didn't even have any issues with, you know, colors being blended together. And for me, because right now I'm having a little bit of issues with like certain dry patches on my eyelid, certain colors don't tend to blend very well, and it will look very patchy because of it. But I didn't have any issue with that, and as you guys can see, the colors performed beautifully. So in terms of the performance of the palette, it is definitely very well done. And I think like out of all the palettes that I've seen from Norvina, even inclusive of the previous one that I reviewed, I gotta say that I would probably go for this one a little bit more. I am just so in love with everything put together here. So yeah, you guys, that is basically it for today's review. I really hope you all enjoyed it, and you enjoyed the little mini tutorial that came with this as well. I should do more tutorial looks actually, because I haven't really done much at this point, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it to the fullest. All the details for the palette and all the links are going to be listed below in the description box as well. So if you guys need any reference, you can always look there too. But for now, I wish you guys a great week and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!